Content disclaimer: the views, comments, and opinions expressed by guest speakers or authors on this YouTube channel do not necessarily reflect or represent the views and opinions held by this channel's broadcasters and its sponsors. Parental guidance is advised. Copyright disclaimer: under Section 107 of Copyright Act of 1976, allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comments, news reporting, teachers, scholarship, education, and research. For fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringed. Welcome to the mathematical universe, my family. How you doing? It's King Simon, the brother, the Numerovator himself. Remember, if you want to connect with me or book a session with me, all you have to do is go to my Linktree / King Simon, the Numerovator. That's Linktree / King Simon, the Numerovator. How you doing? Today is the 13th. What's up? What's up? What's up? Happy birthday to a dear friend of mine, Leah York. Big up to Leah York, Leah Lee, whom y'all have seen. I've interviewed her before right here on this channel, and she is the daughter of Dr. York. Those who know who Dr. York is, it is what it is, but I'm just saying happy birthday to that beautiful sister that is doing wonderful work in our community. So I will be bringing her back on later on, probably within this year. And of course, she helps Leah. What she does is help people find their family. She has a service called Birth Family Search, birthfamilysearch.org. And they only do it for a donation. They actually do it. So if you can't find your family, go to birthingfamilysearch.org. That's birthingfamilysearch.org. And she could help you to reconnect with family that you may want to connect from your past. Or if you're adopted, she can help you find out who's who, especially here in America. You know, she's been doing great work, so I gotta give her enough respect to that. Big up to my Instagram family, wherever you at. Instagram, how you doing? Instagram, if you could hear me. Facebook, if you can hear me. YouTube, if you can hear me. Put the number 1 in the chat if you can hear me clear. You can hear me clear. Put the number 1 in the chat if you could hear me clear. And do remember, family, to always, 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 without fail, like, subscribe, share, and comment. But be respectful with your comment. Like, subscribe, share, and comment, but be respectful with your comments. All right. And also do remember, please, to like, subscribe, and comment and share with at least 5 people that are on a spiritual perspective, a spiritual journey. And of course, today we're going to be talking about perception, and its meanings, its mathematical meaning from a numerovational perspective. And you know how we get down on this channel. And it's all about providing some type of numerovation, some type of using your numbers and how to motivate, not only with names and birthdays, but also with words. Ramadan Kareem to everybody that's fasting Ramadan, and anybody that does fast. Big up to all of you out there that are doing your work in the fasting realm. And like I said yesterday on my live, if you are not able to fast, if you go through different situations with your body because of blood pressure and all that, you don't have to do the fasting in that way. If you're not going to do the full 30 days, drink some water, family. You know, I've learned years that although fasting is required in multiple religions, I'm not going to fast to obstruct my health. You know, I'm not going to destroy, because I remember when fasting for long periods of time, sometimes it caused constipation with my body. With other people, it might not. And being constipated and fasting is not a good thing. And of course, it's supposed to help relieve that in time. But I realized that certain people are supposed to fast for a certain amount of days. Some people are supposed to fast for 1 day or even 2 days or 3 days. But if you are doing Ramadan and you are sick and you know you're not supposed to fast, that's one of the things, according to the studies, you're not supposed to fast while you're sick, or you know that you can cause any sickness to your body. You're not supposed to fast. If women are going through their cycle, they're not supposed to fast. While traveling, you're not supposed to fast. So if you're traveling for long distance, or you're sick in any way, or women, if you're going through your cycle, be very careful about fasting, because there's a lot of protocols and there's different methods of fasting. If you're just going to do water, do water. If you're just going to do, juice, whatever. But, if you're abstaining from food and water totally in the month of Ramadan, then enjoy it. But if you know that your body suffers from certain complications, like I recognize later on in my life, that it suffered from certain complications. And I realized that because my life path is connected to the intestinal tract and the colon and all that. So I still have to be a little bit more mindful and make sure that colon is lubricated and have water in it at least. Drink a lot of it in the morning before I start the fast, or and if I do feel any type of way, make sure I drink a lot. Like I said, a lot of it, probably with some honey inside of it, or with something that's going to help with some a little salt. Certain things that's going to help make sure that I can carry through the fast all day. Yes, I am within the fast, but if my body says, "Hey, King, stay focused," I'm not about to faint out there anyway. I'm not about to fall out. I'm not doing all of that. The Creator will understand. Believe me. So if you are doing the month of Ramadan, Ramadan Kareem, Ramadan Mubarak, Ramadan Saeed, however you say it, it's a beautiful thing when you can do the 30-day fast with the Muslims, or do the fast with the Hebrews, or do the fast with the Christians. It's a beautiful thing. Or if you're just into any spiritual concepts, beautiful to do a fast. It's nothing wrong with doing intermediate fasts and fasting every now and then, or eating one meal a day. And, because the body fast is naturally at night anyway. That's why we sometimes break fast, because in the morning we break our fast. Simple stuff. So once you understand that, beautiful. Once we're alert of that, beautiful. Okay, so we're going to get right into our topic today. Topic is perception, and I'm going to touch a few other words that comes from perception. But perception, a numerovational perspective, and I want to thank Dr. B. Sirius for the webinar, the free webinar that he did with our dear brother, what's his name, Dr. Mahdi Brown. Him and I got the same last name, so I see where he's coming from. And I might make this a call-in show where people can call about what type of perception that you have gone through, what you have perceived over your life, and as far as in whatever walk of life you've been into. And before I do that, I want to mention something. There's a woman that paid me that paid after one of my broadcasts. Her name is Tyra. So Tyra, if you're watching, you sent me 2727, and then you sent me the completion of 109. And I sent you an email and told you to text me your full name and date of birth, Tyra. So Tyra, I know you're born under that number 30, and you could be all over the place. You got a lot going on. I got it. But please, I don't like holding on to people's money so I can book the session, do the session with you live. I'm not doing it through email. I'm not texting a whole bunch of stuff through email. My sessions are recorded after we do the live, or if you choose not to do a live session, because remember, I require your full name and date of birth. I require your full name and date of birth. Then I will email you your recording, but I like to do it live with the person. So whatever questions you have, we can point it out and pull it out, and we'll help you. So Tyra, anybody who knows Tyra, she's born September 30th. I will not say the year that she's born, but a dear friend of mine was born the same day. But Tyra, I'm waiting for your email. I did email, and if you didn't get my email, check your spam, because I'm a new emailing you. So more than likely it went to spam. So it should have came from King Simon Production, or it should have came from I Am King Simon. I don't like to hold people's money. If you paid for my service, I'm a person that move forward and put you on the list as fast as I can. Those who have done numerovation service with me, I'm quite quick when answering, unless you texting me when I'm sleeping at a different odd hour or something like that. But I will definitely respond to you usually within 24 to 72 hours. That is definitely, but 24 is the shortest hours. So Tyra, If you can hear me out there, please, 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 please know that it is important that you get in contact with me via email. I did email you. So I don't ever want anybody to say that I took their money without doing anything. You be patient with me. If I missed your birthday or missed your number, and people that does sending Cash App or PayPal while I'm doing this, if we don't get to you, I can actually take off what you sent via PayPal or Cash App if I'm doing something like this on the air. I'll take it off of the session like she did. My session is 136 every 136 30 30 for 30 minutes. She sent $27 after the live that I did, and then she paid for the balance. So she was able to pay the balance of 109. And now I'm waiting for Tara to come back and let me know what she wants to do as far as do her session. Very important to me. You know, I like to help people, and those who do like to help people in honesty is not going to try to steal your money or take your money and do all that kind of foolishness. I'm not into that foolishness. I'm really, really respectful of your time and your money. I just want you to be respectful of my time and my expertise and my gifts, just like I can be very respectful of your gifts. So today's subject, family, is what I said: perception. Mm-hmm. And of course, do remember to vote. Do remember to vote for me at the television host category 954-245-0086. 954-245-0086 for the second annual Forbidden Knowledge Awards. And want to remind everybody that tonight we will be speaking to Hadia Barbell. She will be on with us tonight. Myself and Carrie Ann Ingram will be on tonight. Healing Vibes show tonight with the one, the only Hadia Barbell. Unleashing your true power, the life-changing lessons. Hadia Barbell is going to be breaking it down. And of course, we got World of Girls coming in on the 17th. And we have the dear one, Jackie Braden, a dear friend of Billy Carson and everybody else that's around us. And enough respect to Professor James Smalls. Get your tickets now. Tickets are starting to sell. People are picking up. That's good. Come on, let's have a good time. 2 days. And one is going to be a public event. One is going to be a private event. And that's April 6th and April 7th. And remember, you can go to my Linktree / King Simon the Numerovator. And do remember, please, family, if you're going to be in Brooklyn, New York, 2 days that we're doing Brooklyn, New York, we have this with Ma'a Bowman talking about health, of course, the mad scientist himself, the one, the only, making a different scientist himself, Ankh Rising Sun, Mama Ella, spiritual medium, and of course, yours sincerely, King Simon, the Numerovator. And then the next day, you have myself, Lloyd Strayhorn, Adara Moselle, and Dr. Shakira Moore will be in the building on that day. And of course, Nicholas also have this coming up. Boom. Man, the one, the only Rizza Islam will be there on the 27th and the 28th of April. Big up to my son, of course, and what he's doing at his recording studio. Big up to Carrie Ann Ingram and all that she does at carrieanningram.com, and of course her jewelry site. And big up to Lloyd Strayhorn, Lloyd-Strayhorn.com. That's Lloyd-Strayhorn.com. Big up and respect to him. Again, welcome to the mathematical universe. I am your host, Brother King Simon, where King Simon presents the numerovational perspective. And yes, it is a perspective when it comes to these numbers. And although certain numbers and certain words might add up to the same thing, it might deliver a different type of meaning from what it entails. So it's very important that we take the time out to understand the words that we're saying and understand the words that are coming out of our mouth. We got to let the words that come out of our mouth be respectful to the Almighty and the creative universe. And believe me, negative trolls will feel it in the long run. If you've been trolling people negatively due to their perspective or their perception of a thing, you'll feel it. You'll understand. You'll understand. And if you don't understand it in this portion of your life, then you will understand it in another portion of your life. I guarantee that. I guarantee that, because the universe is just. Let me say that again. The universe practices justice. The universe is just. So try to maintain your balance and your discipline of whatever trolling attitude or mindset you want, because you might have a perspective and you might see something from a different perception. It is a matter of perception. And when Dr. B put this up on his webinar last time, this here, one man can be standing, or one person can be standing and see the number 6 on the floor on one side of that number, and then the other person can be on the other side seeing the number 9. And yes, both of you are right. Both of you are right from the perception of it and how you perceive a thing or something or a person. Both of you can be right from that, from your perception. So let's talk about what the word perception means. I did go to the dictionary this time. I'm not going to share screen. I'm just going to, I did copy and paste and put it on my thing. So the word perception, the first meaning is the ability to see, hear, or become aware of something through the senses. Of course, we know what the senses is. All right, all the 5 senses and even the spiritual one. The second one is intuitive understanding and insight. Second meaning to perception is intuitive understanding and insight. The root word of perception can be precept, which, let's go to precept, and then also we're going to talk about perceive. But the word precept, an object of perception, something that is perceived. That's the first meaning. The second meaning is a mental concept that is developed as a consequence of the process of perception. Okay, and let's go to the word perceive. First meaning of the word perceive: become aware or conscious of something, come to realize or understand. The second meaning of the word perceive: interpret or look on someone or something in a particular way, regard as. So there's multiple meanings that can come out of the word perception. Of course, precept being the root, and also perceive being also one of the words that come out of perception. So in numerovation, and feel free to always share love, spread love via PayPal and also Cash App, because this is a lesson that, if it serves the greater good of who you are, be thankful that people like me can come up here and do that. Just like I am thankful for people like yourself that could come on and be willing to learn. So let's go to the word perception from a numerovational perspective. Yes. Let's go to, let me pull up this camera just a little bit more. The quote that I have on top there, and I left it up there for a reason, because from an emotional, spiritual, physical, and a mental perception or perspective, we are the sum total of all of our experiences. Not just the ones that we enjoy, not just those that we enjoy remembering, but we are the sum total of our experiences. That's what I have up here. And this was written by Ruth Dreher, a 1990 book. And I've shared that book with you, of course, Numerology, Language of Life. She said that in her book. But I like to stay focused. We are the sum total of all of our experiences. And I know people like to bask in the happiness, but we are also the sum total of our negative experiences as well as our positive experiences. And what you do with those experiences is going to be very important along the way of life, on how you deal with family, how you deal with friends, how you deal at jobs, how you deal in the public. Where some people, depending on what frequency they're under, some people like to hide, like some people like to stay in their home. Some people are the hermits in society. And yes, there are hermits in society. There are those that would rather stay home and do certain things. And I haven't become a hermit per se, but I value my privacy and I value my quiet times. I really do. More now than ever, because remember, like I've told you in the past, I grew up in the nightclubs. I grew up in the party eras. I grew up from the time my father opened up a nightclub the year I was born, and hearing music from the time I got home from that hospital, that hospital, like Dr. Laila Africa like to call it. I've been in a house that was providing entertainment for the neighborhood. That's what happened with me. So older, as I've gotten older, I realize that it is important, you know, and Gloria Abdullah, I said Cash App and PayPal, but thank you for the super chat. I said Cash App and PayPal. I did not mention super chat at all, but thank you very much. And it, you know, and please. And again, if you want to book a session, since you sent, you know, and you sent it via, I don't know where, I'm trying to figure out where my thing is going. I don't know where the super chat is going. That's why I don't promote super chat. So I want to make sure people are clear. I don't promote super chat. That's why I only got Cash App and PayPal. I don't have. So Gloria, if you can retract it. If you can't retract it, then I will just look for whatever. But I'm not going to break down anybody's birthday right now. I'm into something else. I haven't called anybody to do that at this time. So if we are the sum total of all of our experiences, the sum total of all of our experiences, that means we have to learn to embrace all of them, the good and the bad, and the indifference and the crazy. We got to embrace all of it, but we also have to learn to manage the ones that bring us down to a weak point. We have to learn to manage it, that the ones that we allow to bring down to a weak point. And we must learn to strive to always stay on the higher vibration of our experiences and make sure that those negative experiences become a lesson, because it's about the lesson. Because in our lessons, that's where the blessings are found. In our setbacks, that's where the lessons are found. That's why that's why the great Les Brown always said, a setback is a setup for a comeback. A setback is a setup for a comeback. A setback is a setup for a comeback. So whatever sets you back, don't worry about it, Gloria. If you do want to book a session, I will take off the $19.99 off of the session. Just text me via that, and then I'll take it off at $136. Don't worry about it. Let me continue with what I'm doing. And you're number three. Threes are so scattered; they go all over the place, and you're moving so fast. You didn't wait to listen. You just jumped, and I understand. That's what threes do. Just like Sister Tyra, who was born on the 30th, they do so much. There's so much y'all do. It's y'all could be in your head a lot. Y'all be in the head with your lot, and you got so much running through your head that you don't take time to really listen to what a person is saying. Sometimes those people born at that 12, that 30, that 3, they rush into things when they need to just relax and take their time, you know. And that's why a lot of 3s suffer from anxiety and nervous issues, nervous breakdowns because of it, you know, because they're not taking their time and they want to rush things, you know. I've been through that myself because I have a 3 alignment number when it comes to that number 3 or that number 12 or that number 21 or that number or that anything that equates to the number 3, like 30 and all of that. So y'all got to take your time and relax, calm your nerves, and everything will be all right. So the word perception, and I have perceive up here. I did not write in precept yet, but we do have precept here, so I can break it down from here if I want. But the word perception, the ability to see, hear, or become aware of something through all of your senses. The spiritual one also, because the second meaning is intuitive understanding and insight. Intuitive understanding and insight. So in the Pythagorean system above and the Chaldean system below, the word perception adds up to a number 58, which equals a 13, which is a number 4. So it is a powerful word, especially because of the 13 being the power and dominion number, the power and dominance number, or power and dominion number. And in the Chaldean system, the word perception adds up to a 48, which equals a 12, which is a 3. So both 4 and 3 is a communication number. It's a communication number. But because it in the Chaldean system it adds up to a number 12, depending on how you perceive something, the number 12 is the number of sacrifice, victim. So if you perceive something in a sacrificial or being victimized, or you're feeling that you're always being victimized by something else, then that can be your perception that you hold on to until you're willing to speak up. Because the number 3 is the number of speaking, sharing through expressive ways and expressive moments, and being able to express yourself on multiple levels, because it's an expansive number. But because 12 in tarot, remember the 12 in tarot, and if you go to my book, Numerovation for Mental Stability, the 12 is the symbol of universal manifestation, fruition, and complete expression. However, on its negative, the number 12 can go through a lot of suffering and anxiety, and they must be mindful of becoming the victim or sacrificial lamb due to your perception and what you perceive in your life and what you hold on to, whether it's the ability to see, hear, and become aware of something through your senses. Do you lock down your senses, or do you allow your senses to experience it and then be able to speak about it in a creative and productive manner? But it takes the discipline, because the number 4 and 8 that perceptions adds up to are disciplinary numbers. So when you are trying to understand or understand what you're perceiving in life, or what's your perception of life, you got to have mental fortitude and mental discipline in order for you to overcome any victimization of what you're perceiving or what you're allowing to perceive at that point and that particular time of your life. Because if perception is the ability to see, hear, and become aware of something through the senses, what are you allowing in to receive during your senses? And if it's also an intuitive understanding and insight, what are you intuitively understanding? And what is it that is insightful to you? And are you communicating clearly? Because the number 3 and the number 4 are numbers of communication, where 3 is the most jovial of the two, but 4 is the most strategic and structural of the two. So it comes with both energies. It comes with both energies. And the vowels inside the words in the Pythagorean system adds up to 25, which is a 7. And in my book, I talk about the number 25, and the number 25 in compound numerology is a number of strength, experience, observation. So in the inner meaning of the word perception, the A-E-I-O-U, and sometimes Y in the words, the vowels of the word reveal the 25, and the 25 is the number of strength, experience, and observation. So in your perception, you gain strength, you can gain experience, but you got to observe with not just the physical eye, but the intuitive eye, which we all call in the spiritual world the third eye. If you understand what I'm saying, put the number 1 in the chat. Put the number 1 in the chat if you understand what I'm saying. If you understand what I'm saying, put the number 1 in the chat. This is all words. It's all words. And it's all my perspective. In the inner working of the word perception, we have the number 18. And those that practice tarot, we know what number 18 is in the tarot. The number 18 in tarot is the number of the moon. And if the internal vowels in the Chaldean system is the 18, what do I say in my book? If you read down towards the bottom of the number 18 in numerovation perspective, numerovation for mental stability, it says the moon. It says in the study of tarot, the number 18 is called the moon and can depict deception and unforeseen perils due to your perception. You can be deceived due to not having the purity and the clear communication of your perception, and really enabling yourself to gain strength, endurance, and observation and experience. So the number 18 is a number that can bring about deception if you're not careful in this word perception. And also unforeseen perils, because you didn't perceive, or you didn't have the proper perception, or you didn't allow yourself to have the proper perception. However, what I go on and say, I said, however, many concealed things are to be learned, even by those who are already advanced on the path. So yes, no matter if you get it wrong, that wrong that you get, or what you get, if you feel deceived or there's unforeseen perils or dangers that might come with your perception, if you survive it, it can be a learning lesson for you not to go down that route again because of your perception of something. It's very powerful if you understand how to read in between the lines. If you learn how to read in between the lines. And I'm showing you how to read mathematically in between the lines, and how to pick up any numerology book and start interpreting words that you constantly use, or if your spirit is drawn to it. My spirit was drawn to it because Dr. B spoke on it on his webinar, and I hope y'all join him at elevationtime.com for the next one coming up this weekend with Dr. Mahdi and Dr. B Series. You know, Dr. B Series is family, baby. We're gonna shout him out. So this has a whole variation of mathematics or numerical value to it that can be interpreted in multiple ways, and you can see it from your perspective or see it from different perceptions. But let's go to the word perceive, because the word perceive, as we've broken down here, the word perceive means become aware or conscious of something, come to realize or understand. So I want y'all to perceive what I am saying and what I am delivering through my books, and what other numerologists might be delivering through their books, you know, and the Lloyd Strayhorns and the Jackie Levine. I want you to perceive it, because the word perceive in the Pythagorean system adds up to 47, which deals with discipline and spirituality, research, law of attraction, structure, honor, loyalty. So in your perceiving of what you want to perceive, you have to have discipline. You have to have some type of spiritual insight, because the 7 deals, and then it adds up to the master number 11, which is the spiritual teachers, the spiritual guide. So when you perceive something, you have to look at it from a spiritual level, because the 11 is the equilibrium between the spiritual and the physical realm. So what you perceive on any angle, in anything that you do, you have to have the duality and the dual understanding of it before you even talk about it. Because the word perceive, like I have up here on the board, the word perceive means become aware or conscious of something, come to realize or come to a realization or understanding. The second meaning, interpret or look on someone or something in a particular way in regards as. So how you perceive your family, how you perceive your boss, how you perceive your sister, how you perceive your brother. How do you see them? How do you look at them? Have you become aware? Or did you come to a realization of who and what they are? Some of them are still hard-headed. We know this. Some of our family and some of our children, some of our relatives are still hard-headed. But do you disrespect them because of your perception or how you perceive them? No. Because all of these numbers have their healing values. And all of these numbers connected to any one of these words have their negative and hurtful values. But if you are finding some type of balance within yourself, and because the word perceive, which is the root of perception, adds up to a number 11, which says you have to bring the equilibrium of the unseen and the seen world, and then bring the love, because the number 2 is the number of love, of companionship and connection. It's a loving connection that we're dealing with here. With the number 4 in the word perception, the number 4 is a number of loyalty and being loyal to what you have perceived, or what type of perception you have put out there, or what are you seeing through your perception, and being willing to do the deeper mental research of it before you try to judge a thing. And one day I'm going to break down the word judging and judgment, and why you got to be very careful of judging people and holding any type of judgment on somebody. It's very important that we understand these things. In the Chaldean system, remember, I always put the Pythagorean on the top and the Chaldean on the bottom. The Pythagorean on the top of the word, Chaldean on the bottom, because Chaldean is the foundation of that Pythagorean. Because Chaldean been doing it way before Pythagoras, according to history. In the Chaldean system, the word adds up to a number 35, which is an 8. Remember, in compound numerology, the number 35 is the same as the number 26. Look what it says about the number 26 in my book, Numerovation for Mental Stability. The number 26 is the symbol of consideration of the path. Depending on what you're perceiving and what you perceive, consider the path of what you perceive. Goes on to say, in certain studies of numerology or numbers, the number 26 is the number of treading lightly, and of cautious. So you have to tread lightly when you're perceiving something, because sometimes the eyes and the ears can play games with you. What is that old saying? Believe half what you hear and nothing that you see. I believe that's how it's said. So we got to be very mindful of how we perceive things in this world, because sometimes Because this world and this society is like a military corporation, they do military tactics on every level, from media, music, to movies, to every level, to throw us off. They create a perception. That number 4, remember, media, movie, and all of that is ruled or connected to the number 4 of technology. So we got to understand what we're perceiving and be careful and make sure you do the necessary cross references to make sure you're not caught up in the crazy perception that they're throwing out there of other people, especially in celebrity worlds and all that kind of stuff, of you or your job. Somebody can say one thing at your job and it can spread like a wildfire because of how that person perceived you. And because the number 47, which equals 11, 11 on the negative is the number of deception. The negative on another level, the negative level, the number 11 is the number of deception and being deceived by what you perceive. Being deceived by what you perceive. Because most of the stuff that they're putting out on television is propaganda. And I'm going to have to break that word down one day too, propaganda. So the number 35, which in numerology, in compound numerology, is the same meaning as the number 26, which equals an 8. I go on to say about it, about the number 20, the number 26. It says the 26 have to be mindful of disasters brought by acquaintances with others, losses brought by bad speculation, bad partnerships, bad union, and bad advice. So, depending on how you perceive people, whether you perceive them positively or negatively, you still, depending on how you perceive and what you're using with your perception, you got to be very careful, because the number 35, which is the same meaning of 26, can bring about losses, bad speculation, disaster brought about the acquaintances and connecting to certain people, bad partnerships, bad unions, and bad advice. That's what it adds up to, as far as in numerology. The number 8, in my book, I talk about the number 8, and the number 8 being the evolutionary development and balance. So in whatever you perceive in your life, or what you perceive of yourself, make sure you're willing to evolve and develop. Because I'm dealing with the self sometimes. I want you to perceive yourself at a higher level. That's what Billy was talking about yesterday with Brother Rich, trying to take people to a higher level to understand of what you perceive yourself, because the number 8 in numerology is the symbol of evolution, evolutionary development, and balance. It's known as the flawless symbol of balance and cause and effect. So what you put out there is what you're going to get back. That's why I always implore that everybody out there put out the good cause and don't put out the negative cause. Because the inner workings of the word perceive, the A-E-I-O-U, the double E's, triple E's, and an I, adds up to 24, which is a healing vibration. So depending on what you perceive throughout your life, what you perceive can also heal you if you perceive it in the right light. That's why in my book, Numerovation for Mental Stability, I talk about that number 24 being the symbol of assistant from those in high-ranking positions. And I go on to say that the number 24 represents balance and harmony, maintaining a balance and harmony. And learn to find inner peace. So what you perceive has to bring inner peace to you. Because it's up to you, the individual. I can't bring it to you. I can only bring different perspective, different perceptions from the mathematical way, from a numerovational way. And remember, the number 24, what I'm reading as far as the vowel is concerned, is the number of creative self-expression. It's the number of creative self-expression. And because it adds up to the 6, in my book, I call the 6 the symbol of divine balance of nature and all its beauty. So when you perceive a thing, it's supposed to bring a divine balance in your nature. And it's supposed to bring out the beauty of who you are. Because all of us are beautiful, no matter if their physical representation may be obstructed or deformed in any way. The spirit, the energy within us is a beautiful thing. It can't be created or destroyed. And you got some beautiful people that have been deformed over the years or have some type of some type of bodily what's the word, deformity or whatever, but they have the most beautiful spirit. I remember watching the movie Elephant Man. I don't know how many people go way back to that movie, but I remember watching the movie Elephant Man, and his body was just out there. It was just, look, it was a deformity that we didn't even understand. And I know they was trying to usher something in for us to be acceptable for these type of people and these type of deformities that might come out in the world. Because remember the movie Dr. Moreau, the island of Dr. Moreau. Yeah, things like that, people mixing with animals and doing all kinds of things like happen. Those happens. Those things have been happening for years. If they did a movie about it, they probably did it 20 years prior to that. They've probably been testing it when they did a movie like The Island of Dr. Moreau. So you got to understand perception and what we're perceiving out here. But I was about to break down the number 6, and then the number 7 I'm going to break down, and then we're going to close out. Because the number 6 in the vowels, remember, all vowels in your name and in words represents the inner aspect of who you are, the inner you. So if your vowels add up to a number 6 or a 7 or any one of the numbers, that represents the inner, or what they call the soul urge in numerology vernacular or numerology jargon. But the inner urge represents that inner part of you that has to beautify, or represents the beautification of that number, because the 6 is a number of beauty. The 6 is a number of divine balance of nature. The 6 is the number of the nurturer. So what you perceive, you have to learn to nurture it in a beautiful manner so you can bring the best out of it. But if you're hard-headed, because 6 on its negative can be very hard-headed. 6 in its nature can be very unbalanced, unconscious. And remember, in tarot, the number 6 is the number of the lover. Remember, 6 represents choices between two loves, the conscious and the unconscious in tarot. The conscious and the unconscious. But you got to bring balance to it. And then the number 7 going to the number 16, you know, I've broken down the number 16 before, because the 16 is the symbol in my book, I said, is the symbol of spiritual victory or defeat, depending on the physical use in this realm. Remember, the number 16 is the vibration of creativity, balance, love, and spiritual insight. So this word, that word has that number 6, that 25, which is a 7, this one, and 25 is different than the number 16. 25 is different than the number 16 because 16 deals with the need to plan what you do, have a plan on what you do, or you will plan to fail. That's where fatality and problems can come if you didn't plan. So when you're perceiving a thing, or when you want to perceive a thing, you have to have a plan. You have to have a creative and balanced plan so the spiritual law of attraction can come to you from another higher level and not bring you down to a lower level. You don't want to attract negative. You want to attract positive. That's why the planning process is very important from a creative and a balanced aspect because of the 1 and the 6. On that note, family, 51 minutes in. Thank y'all very much. I hope y'all enjoyed what was shared today. And of course, I could get into the angel number breakdown and all that kind of stuff. Um, but I won't do that because I got something else I'm doing. I'm actually recording the book. I'm actually recording within this whole week. I've been recording my audio book called Numerovation for Mental Stability. In my little fun way, in my little vernacular, raw. There's going to be raw, and there's going to be the raw one, and there's going to be a mixed studio mix. So I'm actually recording this now. So I'm going to be recording um, the number 4 and 5th chapter today. So I've got to record the 4th and 5th chapter today. So it's been a process. It's been a very process, and I got to edit and all that kind of stuff. So more than likely, by springtime, it will be out by March, around March 21st, March 22nd. We're going to have that up on my Linktree / King Simon the Numerovator. It will be on Linktree / King Simon the Numerovator. Yes. And the book has been finished. I just haven't uploaded my new children's book yet to Amazon. I'm going to upload it in the next few days. I'm going to upload it to Amazon. So thanks to Rainbow Art. She did complete the book. The illustration has been done. Beautiful illustration. If you see the front page like this, believe me, the illustration inside the book is going to be a very beautiful book. It's an 8x8 book. More than likely, it's going to sell for either $12 or $13, $12.99 or $13.99. I just got to see where Amazon is going with it. So look out for this new book that's coming out, family. It's a children's book based on my song, my top 10 song called Black and White Story. Let we tell the story is one of the lyrics that I said on the song. Let we tell the story. Yes, it's black, it's white. Let we tell the story. And it's so good to have a good editor or a illustrator that caught that. Because I would have named it Black and White Story. But I never thought about, and that's when you're linking with a good illustrator or a good editor that caught, let we tell the story. Instead of calling it Black and White Story, the attraction is let we tell the story. And that's what, and then when the sister Rainbow came up with that artwork, I'm proud of her. I said, you know what? I trust whatever you're going to do. Once she came and showed me this cover, I say, you know what? I trust whatever you're going to do. Just make sure we do the editing and, cross-reference when it's time, and boom, she did a great job. And if you want to contact her for illustrating your book, hit up Rainbow Art at Gmail at Linktree. Rainbow Art and that's her name on the bottom. Rainbow Art on IG. Spell it that same way, not RAIN. No, it's REIGNBOW Art. So hit her up if you want her to do any artwork for you. Then she got different styles. So it's going to be a beautiful book for children, grandchildren, nieces, nephew. But it's a history book, and and it has white folks in it and it has black folks in it. Yes, it does. Yes, it does. Yes, it does. So I'm honored to be able to and I got 3 more of those books that I got coming out. I'm working on 3 more of those books, 2 or 3 more, but they're all based on songs that I wrote back in the 80s and the 90s. And I'm converting them into books because a lot of the songs I never put out. A lot of songs I recorded music at Jamming Studio in Waterhouse, Jamaica, while I was in and out of Jamaica a lot of times. Thanks to people like Johnny Wonder, good friend of mine, and King Jammies, of course, from Jammy Studio, King Jammy Studio. Got to put that king respect to him. And also, I have songs called Hypocrite that I would like to put into a children's, but it's not a children's book. It will be an adult. It will be an adult illustrated book, for adults because it's called Hypocrite, based on one of my songs called Hippo. Said some of my hippo, said some of my hypocrite, said some of my hypocrite, crit. Some of my hippo, said some of my hypocrite, said some of my hypocrite. I mean, I used to do reggae. I used to do dancehall reggae and sing also. So they would call me a sing J back in the day. I have one called One Life to Live. Y'all heard that song before. We only have one life to live, and we have to live it. Don't even strive on negative vibes, or you won't make it. That one is called One Life to Live, that I rewrote from an old reggae song, and I rewrote it in a more positive, productive manner. And there's another song called that I wrote called Problems of the World Today. Problems of the World Today. And it's a beautiful song that I wrote and copywritten all of those songs. And there's another song called Red Light, Green Light, 1, 2, 3. Simon Says. It's called Simon Says. So I would like to turn that into a children's book also. Some of them going to be adult illustration. Some of them are going to be children's books, but it's called that one, Red Light, Green Light, 1, 2, 3, which is called Simon Says. Simon Says, put your hand in the ear and wave them like you just don't care. Simon Says. I used to do those type of things. And I did a song called Assalamu Alaikum. And I have all those lyrics already written down. It's already put to song. So anybody that purchased any one of my books, in the back of the books is going to send you to the link to all of those music, to that particular song that's connected to that book. That's how it's going to work. So I wrote a song called Assalamu Alaikum, Assalamu Alaikum, come and get this God. Assalamu Alaikum, Assalamu Alaikum, come. Me say, come and get this star. And I start breaking down how to say Assalamu Alaikum. I started breaking down how to reply in the song. Very good songs of that time. I was like one of those dudes that just wanted to bring the consciousness to people. And bring it on multiple levels, bringing that consciousness to people, and that is a powerful thing, and that's what I've learned to do on multiple levels, and people on Instagram, what's up, y'all? Instagram, big up to the Instagram family. Big up to the Instagram. Again, people on Instagram, people on, if you do want to book a session with me, I got 5 slots left. Somebody is saying about achievement number and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. You got all kinds of names for it, but also that achievement number is called a pinnacle. Sometimes that achievement number is called the first pinnacle. It was, and some people, they say things and they don't know the history behind it. The word achievement number was founded or redistributed under that name by Kevin Avery. Kevin Avery wrote a book called Life and Numbers. He passed on, I believe he passed on years ago, and he wrote, and I have that book. And he was the one to call it an achievement number. I call it an alignment number. And I might even mention, and in older numerology, they'll call it the first pinnacle when you add the month and the day. That deals with the first pinnacle of that person's life. So I look at it from all of the angles because I can see the first pinnacle of that person's life when you add the month and the day, but I also see what you can achieve with that number. And also I see what you're aligned with. So I don't get caught up too much with the jargon of numerology because it's really about the interpretation. So whatever young boy Mike put out there for Katora, she's going to ask, no way, does that mean? What does that mean? She want to ask, what does that mean? And you can't just throw it out there without giving people an understanding. But that means achievement number is what you are able to achieve with using your number, the month, and the day, or what your parents, usually when people recognize that achievement or alignment or that pinnacle number, if your parents understood numerology or got consulted by me or Lloyd Strayhorn years ago, then they would probably have gotten an inkling of what they needed to do to guide you and take you to the next level, because those numbers are early indication. Part of that holistic perspective is an early indication of what needs to be done in that child's life. And like I've said, because my alignment or achievement or first pinnacle is a number 3, when you add that 2 plus the 1, being born February 1st, because my alignment numbers are 3, I've always liked to sing. Singing and acting, although I got nervous when getting on the stage, but when I was amongst my family, we had fun practicing singing old songs and setting up a little stage show and all that. My sister and I would do a little stage show. My cousin, who was born under the number 3, she did her little stage show. My sister born under that 22, which can have the ability to master whatever they want to master. So we used to have a big old performance in the living room in front of family. Like Eddie Murphy used to do. If you look up Eddie Murphy's background, Eddie Murphy used to do the same thing, but he's born under that number 3 also. He's born April the 3rd, I believe, either April 3rd or August the 3rd, but April the 3rd. So, once you see those 3s pop up, boom, you see what you need to do and what needs to be done, not just in your what you align with what business you're supposed to get into, or what's some of your things that you can connect with faster, but also with your health. Paying attention to your health and all of that is very important. So yeah, man, it's important. Numerology is an important science that, if used correctly and used with the most positive and productive intentions, it will be a very helpful thing for any one of y'all out there. So I do implore people to get my book, of course, Numerovation for Mental Stability. Of course, I always tell people to get Lloyd Strayhorn's book, Numbers and You. If you want to find out more about the achievement number, you can either get Kevin Avery's book. Do I have that up in front here? No, it's in the back. But you could also get Numerology for Decoding Behavior by Michael Brill. I'm not afraid to show books, because every man and woman do their thing a little bit different. I chose to be a numerovator only because numerology means the study of numbers. Numerovation means using the study of numbers to motivate people. That's it. And anytime, those that are new to me, anytime you use numbers in any way, that's a study of numbers, whether it's looking at your clock, whether it's looking at your computer, whether you're looking at analytics, whether you're dealing with statistics. That is the study of numbers at different levels, whether you're doing math, whether you're doing algebra, trigonometry, whatever, anything that applies the numbers to it. That is the study of numbers. And a lot of people are doing numerology and they don't even know, because we've been separated from the science. And because I and Lloyd and various other people that's in this, that we do it from a metaphysical perspective. Some people call it pseudo, some people call it esoteric mumbo jumbo, some people call it metaphysical mumbo jumbo, but metaphysic means beyond the physical. And we can all attest that there's things around us that's beyond the physical sight. We can all attest to that, because we're breathing air and we don't. And there's multiple things in this air too. H2O means something, you know what I'm saying? So it's, and I'm not going to get into that science. That's for the scientists that deal. I keep things simple, like I told people. That's why I respect what Brother Akibalan is doing, and from his scientific analysis of patterns, cycles, and sequences. I respect what KT, the Arch degree. I respected what Dr. Laila Africa did from his perspective, and what Dr. Sabi did from his perspective and his perception, what he perceived from his angle, because it's a matter, like Dr. B shared with us, it's a matter of perception. People will argue over this. You have people that debate each other over their perception of Christianity, being a Hebrew, being a Jew, being a Muslim. They argue over 9 and 6. I'm not arguing over 9 and 6. 6 and 9 it can be the same thing. It's just a matter of your perception. It's the same thing. It's just a matter of perception. And that's why I did this today, the numerovational perspective of perception. So, on that note, family, on that note, I'm so glad we had this time together just to have a laugh and drop some knowledge. The kind of knowledge you will not find in college. But it's all time for us to say so long. Remember, tonight, family, tonight. We have my dear friend and beautiful sister coming on tonight. The one, the only Hadia Barbell will be with us tonight, unleashing your true power, the life-changing lessons. Hadia Barbell learned after quitting social media. Yes, Hadia will be with us. And please tune in tonight at 8 p.m. right here on King Simon Presents, Only Quality People. And sorry about Melanin Monday. We have moved it to another day. We moved it to the 18th, March 18th. So there's another day. Let me get rid of that. Because it's moved to March 18th. Red Pill was feeling a little bit under the weather. That's why we had to move it to March 18th. So we will be in YG Cafe on March the 18th. We will be in YG Cafe in March the 18th instead of the 11th. So we're gonna have a good time. Big up to Aquarius Maximus. She was breaking down some stuff on there the other day. I love Aquarius Maximus. And let me say this for the record. She is one of the best. She was my road. Me and her was road dogs going down to New Orleans. So we drove 6 hours together. I did some of the rides. She did some of the ride. And on the way back, all she did was throw on some reggae music and some hip hop. And she handled that 6 hour ride. She is the truth. And yo, one thing about Aquarius, I love Aquarius. Yo, she's in the car doing sessions. While I was driving, she's in the car doing sessions while she's on the phone, boy, just doing quick bookings and stuff. And she was there just lacing it, knocking it out. 5 minutes out of 10 minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 5 minutes. I'm like, yo, I said, she is the truth when it comes to that cardology. So be willing to go and get that knowledge from Aquarius Maximus, her mom, also the one, the only Nina Diamond, also Jackie Levine. All these sisters are doing great work, man. And all you sisters and brothers that are doing your work and finding your lane. That's all I do is stay in my lane. Y'all don't see me veering off into other people's lanes. I'm not trying to be an astrologer, although I know the science of it. I'm not trying to be a cosmophysician, although I know the science of it. I'm not trying to be an astronumerologist, although I know the science. I want to be the numerovator. I want to use numerovation as a motivational force for all of you out there to recognize that your numbers that is connected to your name and your birthday and your mother's name, your father's name, your sister's name, your brother's name, your cousin's name and birthday, all of it is significant. But numbers don't require you to believe them or not. They don't care. Like I put on the board, none of these numbers care until you are able to decipher it and apply it to help you become your best self. It doesn't care. It doesn't care. Analytics doesn't care behind you. We put energy behind the analytics. That's why if I don't have enough numbers in Facebook, if I don't see my numbers going up, people get all upset. And I don't get upset about it. That's why my show is called King Simon Presents Quality People. I'm not concerned about the quantity. If somebody find me, beautiful. If they don't find me, they'll find me one day. It's all good. It's all good in the hood for me. All good. Thank you very much. 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 Been projecting the judgment and discernment of right, reasonable perception. Good. Thank you very much. Keep on doing what you got to do. And Gloria, thank you very much. Text me your full name and date of birth to 347-496-1022, and then we could book a full session, and I'll take off the $19.99 off of the $136, or but you'll have to pay via Cash App or PayPal. Thank you very much. Happy Wisdom Wednesday. I like that. Wisdom Wednesday. Okay. Birthplace of Harriet Tubman. Black Power. You know what I'm saying? Enough respect to y'all. And everybody on Instagram, I see y'all on Instagram. Thank y'all very much. Thank you very much for tuning in. Thank y'all very much for tuning in and locking in. And, it's important that whatever knowledge you have, don't keep it to yourself in a bushel basket. Whatever gift you have, do not keep it to yourself. Do not leave this plane of existence without sharing your unique gift. And I always have to say that to people. So what I do numerology, but I do it a little different so it's unique to me. Lloyd does numerology, but because of his astrology background, he does astronumerology that is unique to him. And the Jackie Levines of the world and the Nina Diamonds do it a little different than her daughter, Aquarius Maximus. It's beautiful. There's enough to go around. There's over 8 billion people on this earth. There's enough to go around, and we need all hands on deck. We need all hands on deck. We need all hands on deck to make this world a better place for you and for me. We need all hands on deck. We need all hands on deck. I wrote that in my book about if we get everybody's mind right, then we will allow the earth to heal in its proper manner, because we will become one with understanding nature and earth and how to use it in its proper manner, because then we won't misuse the planet. We won't misuse the trees and the plants, and we won't misuse them if all of our mind become right. And that's what Numerovation is here for, to help your mind become right. All right. On that note, family, remember, I only got 5 slots left in the month of March. I only got 5 slots left. In the month of March, I only have 5 slots left. Text me your full name and date of birth to 347-496-1022. That's 347-496-1022. Let me say it slower for you people. That might be a little slow. 347-496-1022. And if you live outside of the United States, this is very important. If you live outside of the United States, use WhatsApp or use Signal, but put +1 347-496. If you live outside the United States, use WhatsApp, use +1 347-496-1022. Remember, get my books on Amazon and also on Kindle. All of them is worth it. Every one of them is informative. All of them will guide you from its own perspective. And anything else do I have to? Shout out to Carrie Ann Ingram. She'll be on with me tonight. And shout out to Lloyd Strayhorn. I will be going on his show, and he'll be coming on my show soon. Big up to my son and his recording studio. Big up to Professor James Smalls coming in April 6th and April 7th, public and private. And do remember, I will be in New York with my wonder friends, my wonder workers, Ma'a, Hank Rising Sun, Mama Ella, and also the next day will be Adara Moselle, Lloyd Strayhorn, and Dr. Shakira Moore. And then next week, 2 weeks after that, they're going to have the one, the only RZA Islam. All right. On that note, family, thank you very much for being a part of the journey. Thank you very much for listening to your brother when you could have been anywhere else. You chose to listen to me. And please, please, please like, subscribe, and share with at least 5 people that are going on their spiritual journey, and they want to understand the word perception or perceive from a numerovational perspective. All right. Have a great day, afternoon, or evening. I'm thinking about breaking down the saying as above, so below. If y'all want to hear that, put the number 1 in the chat. I'm thinking about next time coming up here and breaking down the words as above, so below from a numerovational perspective. If you want to hear that, put the number 1 in the chat. As above, so below. If you want to hear that breakdown, put the number 1 in the chat. I want to break down the words as above, so below. Because a lot of us throw that out there. A lot of see it as above, so below. As above, so below. Yes. As it is in heaven, so shall it be on earth. Shoot, that's a whole sigil right there. You know? Yeah, people, yeah, everybody say for sure. Yeah, man. Yeah, that's as above, so below, man. I like them words. When my spirit says to do something, I write it down. I text myself, I write it down, I do all. So that's why I have journals, or you're able to text yourself, email yourself, whatever you got to do. When your spirit calls to you to do it, do it. Calls for you to do it, man. All right. Have a great day, afternoon, or evening. Peace, love, and soul. And thank y'all for watching. King Simon Presents Only Quality People. See y'all tonight at 8 p.m. with the great Hadia Barbel, the Emmy Award-winning Hadia Barbel. Thank you. Content disclaimer. The views, comments, and opinions expressed by guest speakers or authors on this YouTube channel do not necessarily reflect or represent the views and opinions held by this channel's broadcasters and its sponsors. Parental guidance is advised. Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of Copyright Act of 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comments, news reporting, teachers, scholarship, education, and research. For fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringed. The legend Professor James Smalls will be coming to Atlanta, Georgia, April 6th and April 7th with special guests Destiny Pendarvis and Tassili Ma'at. Text me now at 347-496-1022, or you can go to my Linktree at Linktree/King Simon the Numerovator. The one, the only Professor James Smalls, as you've seen him on Hidden Colors and all the other documentaries. You want to be there April 6th and April 7th, public and private event with Professor James Smalls.
King Simon. King Simon, I love him. He's family, and he has one of the top shows on the Forbidden Knowledge TV network, actually. That's right. So make sure you guys check that out if you haven't.
Yeah, his show is called, it was really based on numerovation. It's a numerology show, and it's called How to Calculate Your Destiny.
Yes.
By King Simon. He's the host of the show. The show has done so well, we're now getting ready to start working on filming season 2. All right, so King Simon, one of the top shows on Forbidden Knowledge TV, streaming TV platform.
Eye to eye, heart to heart, each one teach one, us. This is Professor Imhotep, the Island Monk, here at Warrior Kido Jiu-Jitsu, Way of the Warrior Spirit. So we're here to go over the rules and try to make that as swift as possible for you guys. So the rules essentially are very few. Number 1 is to follow us on TikTok at the Island Monk, or if you have Instagram, you can follow us at Warrior Temple Island University, or if you really love us and want to show us support, you can follow us at both. You're going to find the Kata Shodachi, and you're either going to duet us on TikTok or collab with us on Instagram and win 10 tickets for every additional video you do beyond that. So as we say with all the warriors, eye to eye, heart to heart, each one teach one, us.
Some people think that this esoteric knowledge is for the rich and the powerful, when in actuality, the so-called 85% has a spark in them that if it is sparked through numerology, astrology, numerovation, whatever, it will raise them up from an 85%, maybe to a 10%, and eventually they become the 5%, the poor or prosperous righteous teachers. You gotta understand that this knowledge is not just for one class of people. We gotta get out of the class.